expensive where you put it on the
Yeah.
little pad there.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 15th meeting of the Civic Works Committee. Please check the city website for additional meeting detail information. Meetings can be viewed via live streaming on YouTube and the city website. The City of London is situated on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Lupaneewak, and the Adawandran. We honor and respect the history, languages, and culture of the diverse Indigenous people who call this territory home. The City of London is currently home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit today. As representatives of the people of the City of London, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work and live in this territory. The City of London is committed to making every effort to provide alternate formats and communications, supports for meetings upon request. To make a request specific to this meeting, please contact CWC at london.ca or 519-661-2489, extension 2425. I see we have all committee members present. I'd like to move on any disclosures of pecuniary interest. I see none. We have a number of consent items as well as an added, which is a schedule, provincial regulations to item 2.5. I'm looking for a mover and a seconder for the consent items. Moved by Councillor Frank, seconded by Councillor Ferreira. And with that, any questions from committee on any of the consent items? Oh, who would like to go first? Oh, well, yes, Councillor Preble.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So, through the chair, I just have a question. When we 2.2 and 2.3, we are going to be hiring again an outside organization that is going to help us with these projects. And I noticed that sometimes in the past we have, when we do the RFPs, RFQs, the bids, we list in the report various organizations that bid and also the amounts. And I don't know if I missed it, but in these 2.2, 2.3, I did not see that. And I just want to ask you about it, if it's if I either missed it or if we don't list it all the time, if you could please let me know. Thank you.
Ms. Scheer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Councillor would be referencing contractors, in which case we are obliged to provide the bid prices. For RFPs, which are a qualifications and price-based process, we do not provide that information.
Councillor?
Okay, thank you. And sorry, we do not provide that information due to the privacy or other reasons. Thank you.
It's not as easy, Madam Chair, to compare the qualifications of contractors relative to the bid price versus a unit price for construction. So contractors, you will always see the bids and their bid estimates. As per purchasing policy, we do not provide that for consultant commissions.
Councillor?
So thank you for that response. Now 2.6. When I read through 2.6, I know it's not a huge amounts of money, but when I look at the feasibility study, what we are supposed to do, and I don't remember if it was 40,000 and half would be coming from FCM. But my question is, the 5 points that are listed there, isn't it the knowledge that actually we have our staff? Do we really need to do a feasibility study to find out these things? Isn't it that our staff is knowledgeable and they can look at other municipalities in Ontario, in Canada, in the world, and made those recommendations of the feasibility study that's supposed to give to us?
If I may, through the chair, for a study like this, we will be very, very involved with the consultant, but it becomes one of resource capacity. We're just not able to absorb this level of work in about a 4 to 6 month period of time. So it is very common for us to work with consultants that are more specialized in this area than we are. We also find that when we select the correct consultant, in this case we have, they also bring additional knowledge that we just possibly don't have. They're in the business providing services to other municipalities in the private sector, and we're able to glean that during our conversations in a project such as this. So we are quite engaged, but we definitely don't have enough resources to undertake this on our own.
Councillor?
Okay, no, that answers all my questions for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Frank?
Thank you, and I have a couple questions. So following up on 2.3 for the Hamilton Road, Old Victoria Road, and Commissioners Road intersection improvements, I was emailing with the general manager at LTC in regards to kind of that area, more that neighborhood, not having transit servicing, and it's due apparently to the design, like there's a dead end, and then that the secondary roadways are too narrow, and the intersections have not been designed to allow for transit turning movements. And I'm just wondering, with this intersection improvement, if we'll be chatting with LTC to make sure the design requirements would allow for buses to be able to move around that area?
Thank you, and through the chair, as part of the design process, we will be consulting with LTC. It's typical for our roundabout designs that we do consider bus turning movements as part of the overall design process.
Councillor?
Thank you. And just to follow up on that, because I actually have never asked the question, with roundabouts, are buses able to get through them in general, or do they have to be designed specially for buses? I don't think I've ever seen a bus on a roundabout, but maybe I'm wrong.
Mr. Dales?
Through the chair, yes, bus design is typical of our roundabouts. We do consider the turning capability of buses as we finalize the design process.
Councillor?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And sorry for not sending those in advance. I just started thinking about them as Councillor Pribble was asking. I do have two other questions, but in regards to item 2.5, I noticed that regarding the data points or metrics, it said the city is collecting data, including accident reports and claims information. And I'm just wondering what the other data points or metrics are, if there's, if people know off the top of their head, because I'm just curious how we're evaluating the program.
Through the chair, one of the key items is actually injury reports that come from the hospitals, and they happen to report out at year end. So that'll be some information that we'll be hopefully receiving in the month of January, if not early February. So those are typically the two areas, and of course what we do receive here at the city through our risk management group will be reported out in the way of injuries or accidents associated with personal e-scooters.
Councillor?
Thank you. So then for that, that pilot, the primary evaluation of it is just to see if it is safe or unsafe, and depending on where they're riding, or I guess I'm wondering if we are capturing any other data points that we want to report on for like the success of having scooters around the city.
Mr. Stanford, any other data points that we're looking at?
Through the chair, in the summer of 2023, we were quite engaged and had a number of stop locations in the community where we actually chatted with people who were on e-scooters and also heard directly from people who were not necessarily fans of e-scooters. So that information will be part of our package that comes forward early in 2025. We did not have that same level of activity in 2024, but we also continue to receive both positive information and negative information from the community on this. It's interesting, well, I always got to refer back that these are personal e-scooters. This is not an e-scooter share system. Part of our activity in the pilot project in Ontario is working with the other 16 communities, of which about 6 or 7 of them do actually have the e-scooter share program in place. So we will have access to more and more information from the provincial government. They are the gatekeepers of the information.
Councillor?
Thank you. Good to hear we're also collecting qualitative data, just because I guess I was trying to understand like how we would evaluate it and how we would change things and modify them to make sure that people are safer or to improve access to infrastructure for people using e-scooters. So good to hear that. And then the last one, I just wanted to say congratulations on finding some money outside of our property tax base for the secure bike parking. And I do know I've spoken with a few residents who bike to work from my ward to LHSC, and apparently they don't have any secure bike parking. You guys probably already know this, but it sounds like there's a very high interest in having secure bike parking at the hospital. So I just wanted to share that. So thank you for finding more money.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions, comments from committee members? I see none. I notice that Councillor Rahman is online too, so welcome, Councillor Rahman. If the committee would allow me, I do have a question regarding 2.2, which is the appointment of consulting engineers for the Oxford Street West improvements. I know this is an important project in the West End, and I do have a couple questions that residents have been wondering. The first question is around the process that we're in, and question number one being, has the plan been finalized? And following up with that, there is an intersection at Keynes and Oxford, which the design, the preferred design is to put lights. And is there a conversation out there, or can changes be made to look into a roundabout? So I'll go to staff with those questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the questions. So in terms of the process, the environmental assessment process for the Oxford Improvement Project has been completed. It was approved by Council in August, earlier this summer. So we are now proceeding with the design of various components of that work, and that's the topic of the report that's before you this morning. On the second question related to the intersection, excuse me, it is typical that we look at roundabouts as part of the planning process for the work that we're doing. In this particular case, and there's certainly a lot of factors that we consider at these locations in terms of property impacts, overall traffic impacts, utilities, cost, those are all considerations. As we did undertake the review at this location, we determined that the signalized intersection was the preferred approach. From an overall traffic perspective, a 3-lane roundabout would have been required here, and there are complications and complexities associated with those roundabouts, as well as property impacts in the overall footprint that led us to the signalized intersection as the recommended approach here.
Thank you for that, sharing that information. I know the residents in this area are looking very forward to this project starting in 2026, and they're very, very challenged in this area as we develop this area, how we move around. So a lot of excitement that this is coming forward, but there's going to be a lot of angst, I think, as we move forward with the construction too, and how we move around, and having very few opportunities to move around, and the congestion that can result in this area is a concern. But again, looking forward to this project going forward. I just want to make another comment here from the chair on the 2.5, the response to the Ministry of Transportation, the Ontario Kick Scooter pilot. I'm really pleased to see this project being extended. And again, thank you, Councillor Frank, for the questions, and Mr. Sanford about collecting information and the importance of getting that as the province has given us that extension to look into it further. So looking for that information. And 2.6 to the FCM Green Municipal Fund Agreement, secure and bike parking. I think this is a conversation that is out there, and understanding it a little bit more with a study is going to be important for us. And pleased that FCM will be offsetting some of those costs to the city. So with that, I don't see any further questions, so we can proceed to vote.
Trusso votes yes.
Closing the vote, the motion carries 5-0.
Moving on, scheduled items. I see none. Items for direction. I see none. Deferred matters, additional business. Councillor Pribble.
I'm not sure, but I think this is the last meeting of this committee. Is that correct?
That is, the committee will be rolled into the Infrastructure and Corporate Services Committee, which will be meeting in December.
Thank you. So I would like to thank the chair, Councillor Hopkins, for leading us through the past year, and thank you for the staff, and looking forward to the next year with the combined committee addressing these crucial issues. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Councillor Trousseau.
Through the chair, I'm completing my second year of service on this committee, and I will not be on this committee next year. So this is the end of my time on Civic Works. This has been a very important committee to me. It's often overlooked, and it's often considered to be not the hot committee. This has been the hot committee. And I particularly want to thank, I'm not going to start mentioning particular staff members because I don't want to miss anybody, but it's just been such, I'll just address this to Deputy City Manager. It's really been a pleasure working with your group. I feel that you've always taken my concerns seriously, and I've always had a response right away. As a matter of fact, when I have an unhappy constituent and I send them to one of you, you respond to them right away. And I just think that is really outstanding. We've dealt with some really important issues here. We started our term in the earlier stages of the master mobility plan. We looked at the yard and maintenance bylaw. We've certainly seen the new regime in garbage collection come to fruition, and it's just been a great pleasure to serve on this committee. I want to thank the current chair, Anna Hopkins, and the previous chair, Corinne. Are you here? Yes, who chaired the committee during my first year. So I will come from time to time to meetings, and I'll be in touch with you. And certainly, again, I'm a little unhappy that I won't be on this anymore. But we're only supposed to do one committee now, which doesn't stop my friend Jerry from being on too. Anyway, so again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor, for your remarks. Councillor Ferreira.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know how I'm supposed to follow up with that. But I will say I agree with almost all the sentiments that the councillors made. This committee has been one of my favorites, if not my favorite. It's true. I really like things that are sciencey, engineering. I really like learning about infrastructure. I've learned a lot about water, about wastewater, about storm sewers, about what do you call it, the sewer shed. I really appreciate, just all the wealth of information that I've gotten. And again, like kind of what Councillor Trousseau said, you guys have always been very responsive. You helped me every single time I've asked for some help, so I really appreciate that. I am sad to see the committee go, just because I could always look to the Civic Works agenda just for that type of information. So it does help me in my explanation and my understanding of how the city works, especially, the things underground that we just don't see. That's a huge component of the city. So I'm very grateful for staff, every single person in the front row, every single person in the back, even the IT guys right here too. I'm very happy with everybody at this committee. Yeah, especially the IT guys. And the chair, I thought the chair, very graceful, very well run every time. I really appreciate coming here. And then obviously with committee members as well. I'll start cutting this a little bit short, but I do appreciate this committee a lot. And I look forward to the new committee and just kind of parsing out the information, or the items on that new agenda, so to speak, that would be here, because I'm still going to be pursuing that type of knowledge. So sad to see the committee go. But I had a great time. I really appreciate everything that you guys do, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ferreira. Councillor Frank.
Thank you. I just wanted to say ditto to everything that they said.
Yes, and if the committee will allow me, ditto as well. And many thanks to the committee. It's been a pleasure working with you. I'm going to make further comments at council, so I'm going to be quick and short, but I cannot say enough about the support that staff has given this committee. You are always there. It's really, I think that's what makes it a great relationship that we've had at this committee. And I too am going to be sorry to see it go, even though I still will be around on this committee as it is combined with within corporate services. I've realized this committee has taught me when I travel around the city and I see a sewer grate, I no longer look at the sewer grate the same way. I have a greater understanding how water flows and where it moves and the importance of infrastructure in our city and the money that we spend to make everything work for residents. So many thanks to staff, many thanks to the committee for this year. It has been a pleasure, so thank you. And with that, I will look for adjournment. Councillor Frank, seconded by Councillor Trousseau. And with that, hands up. We can do a hand vote. And that is everyone.